Welcome to Eggys Planet. My name is Steph and I'm launching a new small business starting again from zero. This video is going to be basically that whole process. I'll be talking about all the hurdles and all the things that went wrong and all the things that went right as I prep for my shop launch, starting from pretty much 0 followers and what I did to try and make it work. I have been a full-time artist for about 4 to 5 years now. In that entire time, I've been running a different small business, mainly doing portrait art, and recently it hasn't been going well. Around March, if I remember correctly, I had a shop update that honestly flopped. It didn't go well at all, and that was the first time as a traditional artist who mainly drew a pencil, I picked up my iPad and I started sketching Eggy. With those feelings of failure, I decided let me just try something completely new. With the art style I'd been drawing in for the last few years, I was really limited with what I could make. It was more on the realistic side, and so Eggys Planet allowed me to explore my creativity. I didn't have much money at all at this time, I still don't, but at this time I had no money to really launch a small business. So my plan was just to make stuff with what I have. With this small business, the only financially irresponsible thing I did, I would say, is order a bunch of polymer clay stuff. And I think in total I must have spent like £200. And I know you're thinking, but you just said I had no money. I sacrificed some other stuff. That's like the clay, the tools, probably more tools than I need for someone who's never touched polymer clay before. But if you watched my last video, I mentioned really wanting to get into polymer clay. So this was like me being financially irresponsible. I was also a little bit delusional and I thought I'd instantly be able to like make the best clay charms ever. I'd watched so many videos, I knew what I was doing, but turns out I didn't do my research well enough and I used clay that was a bit too soft. Even though I think they turned out cute, I wasn't able to put them in my shop mainly because I didn't cure the resin properly. So it ended up a little bit tacky and at that point there's just like no return. So the charms that you see here now, I didn't end up putting them in my shop because they weren't good enough in my opinion. But it kind of worked out in my favor because I learned my lesson about what clays to use and curing resin. And I'm a bit sentimental and I wanted to keep the first charms I ever made, so I just decided to keep them for myself. With the exception of the polymer clay charm stuff, I had my Cricut machine, I had my printer, and the plan was that I was going to post a few items on Etsy and slowly build up enough money to invest in my own website and domain name. So at this point, I had already started my Etsy and I finally had some stuff to add there. So I had a few charms, some stickers, and maybe a print or two. But I reached a hurdle that I could not jump over. I will say that Etsy was really good for small businesses before. Etsy was good because it has the marketplace. But nowadays, the marketplace is just overrun with drop shippers and AI art and stolen art on products. Etsy has become a different beast. Compared to what it was before, Etsy has changed a lot. So while it used to be really good, and when I first started my other small business, it was perfect. It was like a springboard until I was ready to have my own shop. This time around, I've been suspended for reasons that are beyond me. They didn't tell me. They said they'd email me to say what I did, and they didn't email me. They just were very quick to email me to say that my shop will not be reinstated. So yeah, I don't have that springboard, but if this works out, it will be better just to have my own platform. A, I don't have to deal with Etsy fees. B, I don't really like how Etsy has so much control over your livelihood. So you can't touch any of the money you've already earned that's in your account for like 90 days. And that happened to me like 3 times with my other account. And that just made me so grateful that that wasn't the only platform that I had, the only shop that I had. Even with my other small business, my Eggys stuff, I would say 70% of all the money I've made has come from Eggys.com and about 30% has come from my Etsy. So I'm really glad I moved on to having my own platform. But it's something I'd recommend people do after having an Etsy for a little bit, just so you can get the idea of how to run a small business and maybe get some good reviews and then just redirect people to your shop. So in this sense, it is a blow for Eggys Planet because it may be really, really hard to get my first couple of sales from eggysplanet.com because I don't have like a glowing 5-star reviews, or you don't have the trust that if something goes wrong, you can just contact Etsy. If you're somebody who's looking to start a small business, I would definitely start off with Etsy, but never rely on Etsy because they can decide that you've done something wrong any day and
that £1,000 you made a month from your Etsy is gone. Not that I made that much. That was me in 2022. I used to make a lot more on Etsy. Now, to be transparent, I don't even think I make like £200 a month on Etsy regularly. I wish my blinds were not doing this right now, but it's going to be interesting to see how different starting out a small business will be without Etsy as a springboard. I really hope that I can come and say, hey, you guys, my first opening, my shop launch was a success on eggyplanet.com. But I've seen that even though I have my Etsy and my eggazy.com, my main shop, some people just still prefer to shop on Etsy, I guess, just because there's like added security of having like Etsy as a middleman. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying to like keep optimistic and just focus on making art and feeling happy with the art that I make, which is the most important thing, I guess. But also I have no money, so I know Etsy used to be so good for a small business, and I'm speaking as somebody who started out in like 2020, and I thought it'd be the similar sort of process, but it's been very different. I haven't even started doing anything and my shop is suspended. So yes, it's a blessing and a curse, but we move. If this studio vlog is going like I think it is, then I think the last clip that I was in was like 3 months ago. I have a reason. My camera has been broken. I feel like I kind of fixed it. I troubleshooted a little bit, and it does kind of focus, but it doesn't adjust the autofocus. It's like it's broken, but I'm making do and it's better than it was before. I really am sorry also for the fan. It's really hot and I don't think I'm willing to sacrifice my comfort for good audio. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna see how it sounds. If it sounds really bad, I want to apologize. I'm so sorry that I have my fan on. It's really hot. It's really hot. So to update you guys on where I've been at with Eggys Planet, I still haven't had my shop update, but I've prepared a lot of stuff. I think by the time this video goes out, my shop would have launched. I'm planning on an August launch, and as of right now, it's July the 29th. So yeah, it has been a few months since the last clip of me in it where I was talking about my Etsy and stuff. I've just been working on stuff for the launch and trying to build up a small following of people who might be interested in purchasing my stuff. I have been focusing on TikTok. Instagram feels really barren to me. Twitter is even worse. So my platform of choice is TikTok because I feel like it reaches people more easily, especially as like a small account. I'm so used to Instagram and the old way of doing things that it's just like really difficult for me to get back into Instagram and having to post reels all the time. I don't really like doing that. I know it's like TikToks and reels are like brothers and sisters, but it's like, I don't know, something about posting reels on Instagram and having like nobody see it, it's just demoralizing. It's so hot. It's so hot. And I know it's like, oh my god, it's only 26 degrees. You guys are like exaggerating and stuff. It's so hot in UK. Like it gets so hot and my room is facing the sun all day. Like my blinds are closed because it's minutely cooler if I close the blinds. If I open them, then the sun is just like, oh, out of focus, nice. Has this been out of focus the whole time? I'm really sorry, my camera. In terms of shop prep, I have a few polymer clay charms, sticker sheets, a couple prints, couple individual stickers. So what I want to focus on now is making a few more polymer clay charms, maybe pins too. I do have some pin backs and stuff coming today. It's a bit annoying. I think that was my package. It was my package. Hooray! There was no notification, so that's a bit strange. They usually let you know when they're like nearby. So this is my business card. I think it's so pretty. Like, I love it, this design. You'll see it all over Eggys Planet. I think the print quality of this business card is so nice, and then all my details, I try to keep it simple, and I like that I have Eggys Planet on like all platforms, so it's very cohesive. My issue with this card though is that I wanted like round edges, and it looks round because it's not close up, but there's like an angle to it. I paid extra for round edges, and they apologized and said that their blade was probably blunt. And then they sent another like 100 business cards, and they were almost the same. They were like not perfect, and they're probably thinking, oh, here this person goes again. Oh my god, it's just like the corners of a card. But my other small business, the cards. Let's look at the material. Like this is a nice round corner. Perfect. This is an imperfect round corner. There's no edges in this card. Am I being a perfectionist? This is not the worst of the lot, by the way. This card is okay. Oh, it's not showing properly. It's making me look like I'm delusional. Can you guys see that? Can you see it? It's not a big deal. Like, I literally told them I don't expect you to send me any more or anything like that. I just want like to give you genuine feedback, because the edges are kind of rough. They look a little bit hand cut. Like, also, I didn't need 200. I don't feel like I'm going to get 200 orders before I want to change my design, but you never know. Eggys Planet might be a hit. I feel like it's pretty enough that you want to keep it, and that's like important to me. I don't want people to throw it in the bin. Please keep it. And then my thank you leaflets, cards. These, I decided to make this my thank you card. This is again what I was going to use for the print tier for my Patreon that I mentioned in my last video, that I actually kind of messed up because I basically, long story short, I picked the wrong payment setting, and I had one Patreon. Thank you so much, Chris. I had one Patreon and I picked the wrong payment setting that I can't reverse because I'd already launched it, and I contacted them and they said the only way you can have Eggys Planet as a name still is if you deleted that Patreon and started again, and that we can release the username once you delete it. So I deleted my Patreon and I remade it. So my Patreon is available, and I always say, like, if you want to, you can join as a free member, want to like do podcasts and things like that and have like free content for anybody who wants to support me just by having a presence there. So right now I have 0 patrons. This is Future Steph speaking. As of September 2024, I actually have 2 patrons. Woo! Shout out to Roma and Emily. I have 2 physical TF patrons and about 10 free members. Thank you so much for supporting me. I actually launched my physical tiers this month, so if you like the look of this postcard and want to support me, I would really love if you joined. I also have a sticker club, and for this launch in September, I wanted to make it extra special, and I made a little sticker sheet, and I'd really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. On the back it says, want to support me monthly, and it has my Patreon there, Moss, which you'll see so much in Eggys Planet. This sort of like weird animal that I just don't know what animal. I know what I want to say, but it's like just making stuff up, you know. Like, Moss is made of clouds, you guys. That's why she looks different every time I draw her, literally. I have a QR code on my thank you cards that will take you to my link tree with all my links. I didn't want to put every single link I have on my business card, such as, you know, like my Ko-fi, which I made. I feel like, again, I wanted to make it pretty enough to want to keep. Yeah, I really hope whoever orders from my shop likes it. You will get this and the business card and a freebie no matter what you order, even if it's just like 1 sticker. My goal for my shop update is 2 orders for opening day. And I know you might think that's really low, but I kind of think I might not get any. I do want to be aiming for something, not like being down and down saying, oh, I don't expect anything. There is a slight expectation, but I do want to manage my expectations. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, expect to get 10 orders on opening day, because that's a bit unrealistic. 2 would make me happy. 1 will also make me happy. I just would prefer not to get 0. I've already had a few people say that they're interested, but you know, we'll have to see how it goes. I'm kind of trying to be optimistic. I'd love for Eggys Planet to be like something. I just want a degree of financial time so that I can can like learn how to animate a little bit. If you watched my last video, the way I animated that was in Procreate. It wasn't Procreate Dreams, it was just like making a GIF. So each time I would slightly just redraw each line, and it gives it like a choppy feel that I do feel is charming, but I want it to be that I do that by choice, not because I don't know how to animate. My next video will be about how my shop update went. As of right now, I have about 1,200 followers on TikTok, about 60 followers on Instagram, and 25 followers on Twitter. 20 plus of them are bots. So I don't post on Twitter. I will start, but something about Twitter feels very unwelcoming to me. It feels like I'm throwing my art into an abyss. Check out the link in my bio. It will take you directly to eggysplanet.com. If you'd like to, you can also support me on Patreon.
So I didn't film a proper outro, but I just want to say thank you so much for staying to the end of the video and for being there at the very start of Eggys Planet's journey. If you want to see how I grow, please do subscribe, and I'd love if you stayed along for the journey.